Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm gonna be doing another Walking Dead discussion topic video. And this one's basically gonna be: is Lizzie gonna be the TV counterpart of Ben from the comics? Um, so yeah, Ben. Basically, for those who don't read the comics or anything like that, Ben. I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on Ben from the comics. Ben basically Ben basically shares the same characteristics as Lizzie from the TV series. Um, After his dad passed away in the prison, um, after his dad passed away in the prison, and his mom passed away somewhere else, not in the prison, at an estate, like a housing development, but besides the point. He starts developing some like psychological problems. He starts mutilating animals. I believe he killed a cat or something. I think it was a cat. Um, and then he later goes on to kill his own brother. He was basically a very troubled child because of the apocalypse. He was only about 5 years old, if I'm not mistaken, 4, 5, 6 years old. And he kills his brother. He killed this random cat. I think it was a cat, and I think he killed a few zombies. But obviously those are zombies, so you have to kill them. So yeah, basically he had a very interesting time. He appeared in the second issue, and he basically stayed to like 61st issue, somewhere around there, somewhere between 60 and 65. He was killed by Carl. So yeah, after having killed his own brother, Billy, I believe his name, yeah, Billy. Um, and yeah, now this one will be on whether Lizzie is gonna fill his role from in TV series. Now, granted, there is already a TV series counterpart for him. Technically, there is already banned from the TV series. He was played by Tyler Chase. He appeared in the mid season final of season 3, I believe, or premiere. Pretty sure. I don't know. I think it was no, it was the mid season final of season 3. He appeared with Tyrese, Sasha, and his dad Alan, and his mom Donna, which eventually got bitten. For those who still don't know who I'm talking about, he eventually joined the Woodbury Army. And he got gunned down by Merle, and basically, if you guys are still lost, he was the body that Merle was eating, before he was killed by his own brother, and zombified, whatever. And if you guys still don't know who I'm talking about, well then I don't know how else to explain it to you. Technically, Ben already has a TV counterpart. Now, there's a lot of differences between this one and the comic one. First off, the age. Ben from the TV series, he's about 18 years old, 17, 18, 19, somewhere between like 18 and 20 years old. Okay. While the one from the TV comic book series is about 4 to 6 years old. Okay. Secondly, their behaviors are way different. By a lot. I mean, granted, the Ben from the TV series did have some psychological issues, but I think that was for him having daddy problems or whatever. It seemed like he was having some problems with his family. Granted, his mom just died, but he seemed to have followed everything his dad said. He wanted to kill everyone in the prison at the time, and all that. So he did have some problems, but not as far as the ones that Lizzie has, and the ones that Lizzie has kind of share are similar as the ones that Ben from the comic book series has. Um, Now, if you guys watched any of the previous episodes, um, especially the previous one, you would see that she mutilated a rabbit, a rabbit, rabbit. She mutilated a rabbit. That's her. So she already has psychological issues. Now, this also does bring up the idea that she mutilate the rats and feed them to the walkers in the prison. There is some proof to that, which is possible. So also you have to remember her dad did die. She like Ben from the comics also went through the prison destruction loss type thing. I think Ben went through it. I mean, Dale kind of saved him, because they went on the RV about a week before, but then they came back sort of with Andrea sniping. So I don't know if they're there exactly, not from what I can recall, but he still knows he lost to prison, period. So yeah. Also, another thing we have to point out is that um she was naming walkers. She was naming walkers. If you guys remember, she was talking to this one walker called Nick, and then naming a bunch of other walkers. I don't think the one from the comics, Ben from the comics, actually did this, but it does show she does have some kind of psychological issues. Also, Mika called her messed up at one point, so yeah, also when Glenn was like choking on his own blood, in that one huge Herschel episode, I think it was Internment, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Internment. She was playing with his blood, like with her foot, which was kind of weird. You know, I mean, it's not huge. Like warning or what a spoiler. This kid has psychological issues, but it is something to note. Now the major thing to note, besides the fact that she mutilated the rats and the rabbits, is that she seemingly tried to choke Judith. In the last episode, she seemed to have wanted to choke Judith. While she was crying, Judith was crying. She put her mouth, and Mika was like calling her. There's walkers around. Come on. Let's get out of here. And Lizzie was like in transition or hypnotized, and she put her hands over the baby's mouth and nose, and it was choking her. You can see the baby's hands, like moving, like give me air type of thing. So eventually she comes. Judith doesn't die because Carol comes just in time, but it is something to note. So yeah. Now Ben from the comics, he did kill someone. Turned out to be his brother, Billy. Granted, this is a girl, but whatever. But she does have a sibling, which okay, in the comics, Ben is a twin. He has a twin. The kid's about the same age, but in her sister in the show, Mika, she's about 8 years old. 8, 9, 10. She's right around there. So but still sibling, and she does seem endangered of being killed. Also, another thing to note is that she did have problems with Carl in a few of the episodes. With the whole name, the Walkers things. Carl basically said you shouldn't be doing that, which it does hint that there may be some kind of not struggle, but some maybe struggle or some kind of misconception or misunderstanding or whatever, or some kind of weird awkward dislike between the two. In the comics, Carl didn't exactly like Ben either. He tolerated him, but whatever, screw this kid type of thing. So that is one thing to know. They do have a rough. They both do seem to have a rough relationship with Carl. Also, the thing with almost being murderous. Actually, Lizzie did kill someone, Alicia, and that one random guy. So they were murderous. But I don't think that Lizzie's, well, not yet, not seeming yet, is up to the point where she could kill her own family. I mean, she couldn't even put her own dad down when he was dead, to prevent from reanimation. But I think that was because she was at a weaker point. She wasn't at her, badass darkest hour point. So yeah. Eventually, I do think that Lizzie will eventually fulfill the role of Ben from the comics. As for the Ben from the TV series, I really need from him is the same name and the family. Really, nothing. I mean, he did have some psychological issues, but not as far as Lizzie seems to have. Also, Lizzie does share, not share, but she does have more psychological issues than Ben did have. Now, granted, she is older, so but I don't know exactly what the age rule is for psychological issues. But whatever. Yeah, yeah. Eventually, this is what I think. This is what I predict. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be in this season, but I do think it's very likely. Because it does seem like we're gonna get up to this story arc, which is Fear the Hunters type of thing. The Hunters, group of cannibals. I may do a video on them later. Maybe. Basically, this is how I think it's gonna eventually pan out. Eventually, Judith may die. That's a 50-50 chance. Mika for sure is in danger of dying. That I think there's a 3 or 4, like 9, nah, not 3 or 4. See, I think there's a good 9 or 10 chances she will die by the end of the season, or at least at the hands of Lizzie. That's for sure. Um, Carl may shoot her. Lizzie may end up dead by the end of season 5, the mid-season final. Um, and yeah, I really do think that she will fulfill Ben's role in the comics, from the comics to the TV series, psychologically. So yeah, not really much I could say for the Ben from the TV series. I really didn't care for him much. Felt a little bit bad for him when he lost his mother, but after that, whatever. So yeah, basically, eventually, that's what I think. That Lizzie will fulfill Ben's role psychologically. Mika is in 9 out of 10 chances of dying. Judith has a 50% chance of dying. Um, and Lizzie has a maybe also 50% chance of dying by the end of the season, and if not, all of them by like the end of the mid-season final of season 5. So yeah. I do think they're very interesting characters. I really do want to see, what they do with Lizzie and how she interacts with Judith and Mika. Um, and what was up with that choking thing? I mean, I know it's crying, but that's not a way. It's not the proper way to shut a baby up. I mean, granted, having a baby isn't the best thing to have in the zombie apocalypse, but yeah, I don't really think you should kill the damn thing. And if you are, I mean, this is gonna sound morbid, but stab the damn thing, as silent as possible. So yeah. Lizzie's messed up. Period. She will eventually fulfill the proper role of Ben. You know, get Mika may die, likely. Should I tell before Lizzie? Judith may die, maybe, and that one's kind of iffy. Lizzie will eventually die because of her actions, and that's basically it for this video. So now in the comments below, what are your thoughts on Lizzie and her character development and all that? Um, what do you think we're gonna see out of her, and do you think she's like worse, more psychologically messed up than Ben, or she's getting there? Do you know what I mean? And do you think she's eventually gonna fill the roles of Ben from the comics series? And what are your thoughts on that? And yeah, subscribe. Also do other subscribe. Also do other Walking Dead discussion videos. Also review the TV shows and some of the comics. So stay tuned for that. Besides that, subscribe. Also do other TV show reviews. Some other discussion video topics. Also review movies, TV shows, and movies. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, share on Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, Vine, or whatever you guys prefer. And that's basically it. This is Daniel Mart signing off.